think we should delve deep into the SpaceX program first, and we'll leave the debating till maybe the end.
Okay.
About
Well,
obviously not about the
I
SpaceX,
could-
but about like the whole riot stuff. We'll leave that until the end.
I mean, you want to go
Yeah.
for space?
Because I know that I know a couple of yous are like Elon Musk fans, or and all I know about the SpaceX launch is that it has something to do with getting to Mars. It's supposed to be like the first step in getting us to Mars by the end of the century. So it's like, do you have anything to expand on that and educate me on that matter?
There may be some education needed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
quite a historically important step into getting us to Mars, and he aims to get us there by roughly 2030. So we'll probably get there by 2040, because usually Elon is like a decade late with timelines.
Yeah.
All right.
For example, the
important thing
cars.
is- yeah, the important thing is like this is the first actual human launch from American soil since the space shuttle stopped operating
Since
back in
2011.
Yeah. So it's finally happened. America's it's been a weird week for America, hasn't it? When you consider that.
Yeah,
yeah.
to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. I mean, it's great that it's happened. I mean, it shows that sort of the structure that they're going for, which is sort of a partnership between private companies and the public association of NASA, seems to work, and like actual progress is being made. Good positive news for SpaceX definitely this week, because their other test of the Starhopper, which is the actual ship that they intend to take us to the moon and Mars on, may have blown up a little bit. So,
Oh, all right. Holy shit! I didn't hear about that.
yeah, thankfully though,
There's nobody in it.
well, yeah, obviously, like, it's a test rocket. Not going to go, well, listen, John, we're paying you $100 grand a year to possibly get blown up. Sitting there, and if you smell gas, run. You know, so I mean, thankfully, the Falcon rockets and the Dragon space capsule didn't blow up, and they did impart those astronauts safely onto the International Space Station, and hopefully they will safely return them.
One thing I will add, though, is that they did have a bit of a bumpy ride coming into stage 2, and this is because I was watching a video on them. So I think it was the day after them actually landing at the space station and stuff like that. They had an interview, and they were going through, or they were getting questioned from people from Earth to like what was different from the first time they went up, because these two people that went up like a couple of days ago actually went up like in 2011.
Yeah, they've been up twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been up twice.
So they were getting questioned, asked like what was different from 2011 and what was but between 2011 and now, and they said that it was liquid fuel used in this one heading up, and it wasn't in the other one. And so when they took off, it was a lot smoother, but when they got into stage 2, it was a little bit harder, and they were like, I don't remember this happening in the last launch that they went up, because again, it was the two same men that went up. Let me just mute that. It was the two same men that went up in 2011, went up like a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So they were like, yeah, no, I don't remember this happening. But apparently they were very verbal in what they experienced. They were up there for about 19 to 20 hours before they actually connected with the space station itself. And then I did see a video of them opening the hatch and being reunited with the crew that was up there. Now, another thing to quickly add is that they left a flag, an American flag, up there in 2011 that was then bagged and kept right beside. Bagged. It was, I say bagged, but it was more of a sleeve. It was then sleeved and then left beside the hatch with a note on it saying, do not forget to give to, and then whatever their their names were. So they had a plan to like get up there, retrieve that flag, and take it back home. And it actually came up as one of the questions as to like, are they going to be able to take that flag home? So the big thing to take from this is that they left the flag up there 9 years ago. They got the flag, and they're going to take it home.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the thing to take from the other important technological.
No. It's like they didn't really have much to say. They like with the stage 2, they said it was a bit different, but again, it was expected. They said because of the fact that it was a bit of a different fuel used
basically it's a mixture of like basically liquid oxygen and methane.
Yeah.
And kept the cryogenic temperatures to keep them nice and cool. I'd also say probably a lot of the reason for that extra sort of shakiness in stage 2 is it's like the space station was a fucking massive vehicle when you compare it to like the Dragon capsule. So like it's really quite a bit smaller. Like the space shuttle, it's a big motherfucker. So yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great that it was a success. I mean, I think if something bad happens, it's going to be extremely bad because it's going to set things back about a decade, I think, potentially. I could be wrong on that, but I think it would. You know, it's important to keep the public opinion towards space travel positive if we are to reach some sort of goal where we get to Mars.
Yeah.
And I think...
Can I just add to that? So the only thing that, like, the only way of it going wrong now is on the flight back, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, there was a few videos posted online of a few of the crafts actually landing back to Earth and landing fine. Now, could that be just a thing where it was like 1 in every 1,000 or 1 in every 100 or 1 in every 50? Who knows? Who knows how many tests they've done? I'm not too sure how many tests they've done, but
well, like with the
they'll know, but
they have that pretty much down.
Yeah,
it's very rare that they do use reusable rocket, but the pod is very different from that. Like the capsule is very different in how it lands. Like it's like a more advanced, basically Apollo capsule. You know, it's not going to land in the same way. It's not going to land itself. It's just ideally it's going to plop into water at some point.
Well, to be quite honest, you would have thought that they would have taken the weight. They would have taken the weight of it. They would have taken, like, including the passengers on it, obviously, yeah, and then actually like put it through to find out, you know, is it going to come back safe enough, that kind of way. So I would nearly say that, but like my question here was like, at what percent is that? Do you know what I mean? So is it every 1 millionth that doesn't come through, or?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, rockets are expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
so they can't make a million of them. Yeah.
You can't make enough to have like a decent percentage. I mean, like they've tested the sort of system that is meant to save the astronauts, and they did that by like blowing up one of the rockets on purpose to see if it was okay, and it was okay in that, and that was in the worst case situation going up. I think going down is probably a lot safer, but like everything else, it's space travel, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever like 100% in that, or even close to it, I would say. You know, I'd say Lady Luck plays a key role in it as much as good science does.
I'd just like to add that when I was actually listening to the videos of these guys up there in the space station, that I, like myself, when they were talking, I don't know if anybody else felt like this, but I felt like when he was talking about certain things that I was just a dumb cunt. Like, there were certain things that when he talked, like
they're astronauts.
No,
intelligent people.
No,
so they're gonna know a lot.
No, I understand that, but at the same time, I just felt like such a dumb cunt. It could be, but I just felt stupid. Like, I just felt really, really stupid, and it just made me feel like, yo, if you want to really understand this, you got to go and fucking learn about this, and like, it's kind of something that I've. let's just say after the whole thing, I like done a bit of research on a few things that I wasn't sure about, and that I'm kind of intrigued to like maybe learn a bit more.
I mean, if you are like really interested in sort of learning sort of rocketry and the science of like escaping orbit, Kerbal Space Program is a great game to play. It's a game and half a learning tool as well.
Because you know your boy wants to make an Iron Man suit, like.
Yeah.
Using an element that doesn't exist.
Don't worry. What do we say about elements that don't exist? We'll create them. Exactly.
I just want to.
Watching this, just going, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, for fuck's sake. The most realistic superhero you can possibly be is Batman. Get it fucking in your head. Legit, that's what I was thinking. Sorry, Aaron, about interrupting. But legit, like for the past couple of days, the only superhero I was thinking about that you could legitimately be, if you had enough money, would be Batman.
You could be Green Arrow. He's basically Batman light, is he not?
Yeah, but it's like the most powerful you could possibly be would be Batman.
Maybe.
With all the gadgets.
Yeah, I feel like him and Green Arrow probably had the same on the power scale. Maybe.
Nah. Definitely not.
He doesn't.
Definitely not. Batman would just overthink. But anyway, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm trying to say is, let me speak, goddammit! But I just want to get a grasp on, like, so the main purpose of the SpaceX launch was it to go up and get that flag?
No.
Something else completely.
So the main purpose was
the main purpose of that launch?
The main purpose was to prove that we can do it after 9 years. So they took a break because of the fact that they tried to send a rocket up, but it like blew up or something. Was it, Mark?
So basically,
if I'm correct in saying
what happened was they used the space shuttle before. That's basically what they're doing is they're bringing the astronauts up to the ISS to perform scientific experiments and work on the International Space Station. So they used to use the space shuttle for this. This is how the Americans did it. Russia did it through the I can't remember the name of the Russian rockets, probably some fucking Russian simple name. Soyuz, it's the Soyuz rocket, which is from the 70s. But basically, the shuttle had a lot of problems. Like, it's quite expensive for a usable vehicle, and it got old. And it did explode once. Columbia did explode, and 12 lives were lost, or 14 lives were lost in it. So what was sort of proven here is that with SpaceX's technology of reusable rockets, which is sort of the new great thing, having these rocket stages come back down there and be able to use again, can safely transport humans up there. The basics of, this is how SpaceX are going to start to make a lot more money, and then this is going to sort of morph into sort of a more moon-based program. It's not the Apollo program, it's the Artemis program, where basically it'll be the first stage of the rocket that will take us to Mars, which is called the Starhopper. Will first take people to the moon. But NASA obviously has their own rocket as well to do that, which is called the SLS. There's a couple of other rockets from Blue Origin as well, which is Jeff Bezos' effort to, but they're kind of shit. Because Bezos doesn't really have his heart in it like Elon does, and he's nowhere near smart. So basically, they're just proving that we can take people up there safely, securely, and relatively economically, and that this technology does work. And, the eventual hope is then to take civilians up to there and to sort of commercialize it and make it a lot, more convenient, safer, and more prosperous. So that was the goal, and hopefully it's a success.
So basically, the stepping stones from this point on is, eventually getting normal, your average person up there and commercializing it, and then the next steps would probably be getting more people up, and then the next step after that would be getting further away from Earth, and further and further, and then eventually maybe to the moon, and then maybe to Mars, whichever direction is. Whatever direction is
further than the International Space Station, because you're just orbiting, and you can't really they'll probably do a fair amount of trips to the ISS, and then they'll move on to the moon. to the moon and probably get really good at going to the moon. I would think they'd be interested in sort of setting up some sort of moon base. Like I'd say that's definitely within the cards now. And then obviously once we get moon down, we're going to go to Mars. Hopefully by the end of the decade. I'm not sure if that's possible, but like what this is basically doing is
the end of a decade.
The end of this decade, yeah.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah,
not a hope. I don't think that's happening.
I mean, I hope more than anything that is the case, but I doubt that, unfortunately. So yeah,
but I think what I heard is a little more realistic. The end of the century sounds a little more realistic.
We'll be before the end of the century. We'll be there before the end of the century. Like if you like SpaceX, like if you look at the level of development they're doing, and like they continue at this pace even remotely, like they'll have us there. Like not by the end of the decade, but maybe in 15, 20 years, definitely. If they keep like the pace that they are making and innovating stuff is like this company was formed not 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, or it was 2008, you know, but they really only hit their stride around 2014. Got rocket technology down like for 6 years to get from just the basic rocket technology and building it from the ground up to then taking human beings into space and back to space is very impressive. So I think the end of the century that's far too pessimistic to be. You know, I think definitely before the end of the century, well before it, I'd hope. I'd say definitely before 2050, and probably you're going to look at the mid 2030s, and hopefully before 2040. By some miracle, maybe be 2030, but I doubt it. But I mean, the main thing that this achieves is America now has the ability to send humans back into space, which is something that they've not had the ability to do for about a decade now, because they had to rely on old Russian rockets. So it's great. It's great. It's really good. Like when I watched the launch live, I felt like quite hopeful about it. Because things have been very stagnant there for I'd say not just a decade, but for 2 decades. And at the end of the day, I agree with Elon's goals. We need to be a multi-planet species. The next
the plan's dying. Like.
Yeah, but you see, the thing there is, right, it's not going to be like it's not going to be one extra planet. It's going to be however many planets we need because of reproduction. Because we're just all taking the piss with it. We're just all going getting pregnant.
Going up. Like,
too many people fucking and too many stupid people fucking.
Oh yeah, way too many stupid people fucking.
And I suppose it does make sense that Elon doesn't want to get us to Mars, before he dies. But because.
I mean,
but what you got to realize is that when Elon dies, that's not it. There's going to be somebody else out there that's either smarter.
I'm sure he's gonna groom someone to follow his footsteps.
But either there's going to be somebody out there smarter, or there's going to be somebody out there on the same level as him that wants the same thing.
So.
If anything, there's going to be somebody out there smarter.
I mean, we went many years without someone like Elon to come along, and Elon's the only person at the moment doing it. Like out of all the people with massive amounts of wealth, he's the only person that's actually pushing for this. And I'd argue like he's the only person that's actually putting his massive wealth to good use.
Yeah, but I mean like smarter as in like knowing. Like
it's not just,
do you know that it's I don't mean like the pushing of
out there on like it's not just like intelligence.
But but I mean in that category. Do you know
even in that category, there's smarter people than Elon out there. There is definitely. But what Elon is good at is like building, like coming up with new innovative ideas, getting the companies to be profitable, getting the end product that's good and successful out there, and managing people very well. And like just being like taking like managing both those companies back from the brink and bringing them both into two of the in their sectors, Tesla and EVs, and even cars is probably the industry leader right now, and SpaceX is definitely the industry leader in space technology. I don't know. I think he's a once in a generation guy, definitely. And once he goes, like I hope there's someone to step in to replace him. But I'm kind of doubtful.
Well, like you said, he's a once in a generation guy. Like we've never had anybody on that can before. But since we got him, he might inspire some people that might do what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, there was the only guy that was comparable to that guy was actually the first head of NASA. I've forgotten his name. I'm going to quickly Google it. But he was actually a Nazi, and actually committed.
All right.
He actually committed horrible war crimes, war crimes. But TinCan Glennon or something like that. Yeah, he was sort of I'm not sure if that's him. I think because that's not really a German name. Oh yeah, it's Werner von Braun. That's what Werner von Braun. He was the guy who came up with the V2 rockets, I think, and he worked very much so on like Nazi Germany's rocket program. He was a pretty fucking nasty dude. He was the guy that got the Yanks to space. So he would be the closest equivalent to Elon, but obviously, not really. He's a fucking Nazi and a pretty unchill dude, and he really only specializes.
He's not a dude to look up to.
No, you can admire his intelligence or whatever too, but you've also got to, you can also resolve that he's probably a fucking terrible human being, But what I'm saying is, like, even when you compare him, who is sort of like the closest guy in the field of rocketry, like that guy just specialized in rocketry, whereas Elon, he's doing the rocketry, which is SpaceX. He's doing Tesla, which is like automobiles and cars and EVs and battery technology and production line technology as well. He's got Solar City, he's got the Boring Company, and he's got Neuralink. And Neuralink is like very heavy going. I mean, that's like implanting computers into brains and having a brain-computer interface and sort of curing like sort of diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and stuff like that. Like, I don't think, like, I hope to God that like there's someone else like him to come along after him, but I don't think you're going to get anyone like him. Like, he's whatever it is about him, he's not the most intelligent guy, but something about his leadership and the way he builds companies and the way he builds innovative ideas and gets people together and the finances together to make all of them to become like a practical, tangible reality. Like, I think he's a once in maybe 200 or 500 years guy.
He's an influential dude from what I've noticed.
Yeah. He gets a lot of shit, and don't get me wrong, like he does stupid things on Twitter. It's like the rest of us, he's human, he does stupid shit on Twitter. But like when you compare him to other billionaires, you're like, what? Like, does he actually deserve the ridiculous amount of money that he has? And the answer is yes, because he does crazy hard things, makes them possible, makes great products, and is driving us forward as a species. Whereas, what's Bezos doing? Selling cheap shit and treating his workers
pretty
like
much
shit. What did Bill Gates do with all his money? Like, he's not achieved much. Like, he set up this charity which has barely been able to get rid of fucking Ebola in a small region of Africa. Do you know what I mean? Like, I reckon if he directed Musk at that problem, it'd be solved by now.
Well, he's a cool dude. And all them did you all watch the launch?
I didn't watch the launch
because I didn't watch it. I was at work, but I've seen the white stream in the sky on my way home from work.
I didn't watch it.
I watched the Scrub live and I was quite disappointed, and then I watched the actual launch live, which is like, it's really nervous because you're like, I know you're not there, and they're like, they're not people you know, but like, you're watching the thing, but like, this could blow up. This could blow up, and I could be watching it, and it's really weird. And it's like, if this goes wrong, what's the connotations for like space travel? And like,
yeah, but you got to realize that your TV or wherever you're watching it on, it's gonna be delayed by however many seconds they've set. So, for example, if they've set 30 or if they've set 60, they can easily just cancel it off, and you'll never see a thing.
Yeah.
So if it did blow up,
that's probably true. I mean, but they didn't do that for Colombia, I don't think. I'm not sure. I mean, you could have watched like
but they'd have learned.
You could have watched other third-party YouTubers that had cameras angled at it, and then certain other
yeah, that definitely would have been possible. That
certain other YouTubers that like when they run their live stream, they're analyzing both the footage that came in of NASA and SpaceX, and then these third-party YouTubers with their like cameras in the field to sort of get get the best view of content. You know what I mean, and actually see what's actually going on as best you can, which I thought was like a very, very good way to present the launch, journalistically, like how to cover it and get both sides. But I think, all in all, it's a really great thing. It's been successful so far. I hope it continues to be successful. And it's not, we fucking need this. Like, in this year, we need good shit. Like, 2020 has been like a not one of a year.
Yeah, but have you seen? Have you
we're
seen?
officially
Does
at the
it,
halfway point, and it's been god awful so far. So
have you seen? Let me just grab it here. Let me just get it up here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I took a screenshot of it. I'm really sure. So it says Congo. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll read it. Congo declares new Ebola epidemic 1,000 kilometers from eastern outbreak. And then the caption is, our kid Corona called in backup.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a shitty year.
It has.
yeah.
It has.
And there's something else I want to mention. Alex, do you have any thoughts on the situation? Because you've been quiet as hell. That'll be a no.
I don't know if he
I
can
didn't
even
hear
hear
anything
us.
when you said you fucking lagged.
Okay. Well, my question was, what are your thoughts on this whole SpaceX launch thing? Because you have been very quiet.
Cool.
Great description.
I-
Great description. We love it. We love it.
Rock's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
They slap a big tittied anime girl on the side of that thing. I might be.
Oh, then I'm all over it. Yeah, definitely. 100%. Absolutely.
They call the rocket going to the moon Sailor Moon. Alex is all over that shit.
Riding that all the
I've
way
seen
to
it
the
in
moon.
Armageddon. I've seen it in Armageddon. I've seen it in Deep Impact. Seen it in Interstellar. I've seen it all over the place. I don't need to see it again. Fuck off.
The thing is, if you tweeted Elon to do that, he would fucking do it. He would do it for the memes. He would fucking do that. He'd go,
Yeah, that's the thing
No,
is.
what do you do?
That's the thing is with Elon, he plays up to popularity. So, like, and I'll explain what I mean. So, like, if something like, for example, you wanted anime titties printed on the side of the fucking space, what are they called in the shuttle?
It's not a shuttle. Oh, you talking about the one that's going to go to Mars?
Yeah,
They're calling it Star Hopper for the moment.
Star Hopper. Yeah. So if you wanted anime titties printed on the side of that, Elon would be like, he'd wait until he has so many people like tweeting him about doing it. And then he'd be like, yeah, I'll do it for the fucking memes. He'd be like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it. What's better than a plain old Star Hopper fucking spacecraft coming to Mars than a fucking spacecraft with anime titties coming to Mars?
Exactly.
Well, you see, he could do that, but he wouldn't be able to broadcast it on TV. That's the thing.
Yeah, you
Problem
would.
is-
Yeah, you would. 100%. People wouldn't give a fuck.
Problem is-
they would.
Well, I think the
spacecraft-
networks would.
Nah,
Does
nah.
spacecraft then attract interdimensional space tentacle monsters? That's the question now.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, with them anime titties.
Oh no.